become older, as you become an adult, some of those things are really not there in our daily lives. We stop doing this thing and life sort of becomes more serious. And I know play is so important. Maybe if you can just share with our viewers a couple of things. First, your journey on being a therapist. How did you start incorporating play as being part of important part of healing tool, and why do we stop playing?
Good questions. I think my journey as a therapist probably started with 2 therapist parents. And so I grew up in a home where there was lots of conversation around how we felt. and that was fantastic in a lot of ways. They were both fantastic listeners. I also grew up in environments, they worked in a lot of group homes in different places in Alberta, and there were a lot of environments that were not so playful, I think. And maybe as a result of that, or I'm not entirely sure, but I think I became a lot heavier in my life, just a lot more serious and a lot more analytical. Mm-hmm. And definitely moved up into my frontal lobe brain rather than being in my body brain, I think, in terms of, if you imagine a child playing, they're running around and moving their bodies and they're constantly laughing or crying or expressing emotion of some sort, which I view in a sense as a part of play. And then I think eventually I ended up in this brain where it felt a little bit safer, and I started to feel heavy, and went to theater school actually, and in theater took clown, which isn't necessarily what one might think of when they think of clown. You might think of a red nose or big shoes or a wig, but it's not necessarily that. It's more this idea of how do you be light with who you are and what you do, and what is it like to see and be seen, being a human being. So that it's a lot about honest connection with an audience and with yourself. And so I think in that process I realized this is what I need. And it was so far out of my reach at that point, but I started to do a lot of courses in that, and it changed my life. And this idea that I could play with or make light of a whole bunch of things, any aspect of myself really, and not always right away. Sometimes it was a matter of holding it and making sure that that place knew it was safe and knew that it was okay. And then eventually you can throw it up in the air and start to play with it a little bit more. So I think that's how I came to bringing more play into my life, was relearning it as an adult.